February 14, 2026. University of British Columbia. Physics Lab. A team discovers something that should be impossible. They create what they call Majorana Qubits, quantum particles that exist in superposition between matter and antimatter, between existence and non-existence, between being and not being. And these particles do something extraordinary. They don't decay. They don't collapse. They persist indefinitely in quantum superposition forever. Which means, according to physics, they are simultaneously alive and dead, existing and not existing, here and not here. And this discovery, published February 2026, 3 weeks ago, proves something that will destroy everything you believe about death, about consciousness, about what happens when you die. It proves death is not ending, is not cessation, is not termination. Death is transition, is shift, is movement. From one quantum state to another, from matter to antimatter, from existence to superposition, from alive to simultaneously alive and dead, forever. Consciousness doesn't end, doesn't stop, doesn't terminate. Consciousness shifts into what scientists now call the quantum grid, a field, a network, a dimension, where all consciousness exists simultaneously in superposition, accessible, communicable, influenceable, from both sides, from alive side and dead side, from matter side and antimatter side, from existence side and superposition side. And here's what broke my mind when I read this research. Here's what connected everything. Here's why this changes everything. A mysterious Ethiopian master named Abdullah taught this exact mechanism in 1925, 101 years before the Majorana Qubit discovery, before quantum computers, before superposition was understood, before anyone knew antimatter existed. He taught, death is illusion. Death is not ending. Death is shifting. From physical plane to what I call the quantum grid, where all consciousness exists, where you can communicate, where you can influence, where you can access, from either side, alive or dead, physical or quantum, matter or superposition. The grid connects all. The grid contains all. The grid is all. And when you learn to access the grid while alive, while physical, while in matter state, you access all knowledge, all power, all consciousness, from all beings, all times, all dimensions that exist in the grid, in quantum superposition, forever. Abdullah accessed the quantum grid in 1925, 101 years before science proved it exists. And tonight you learn how he did it, how he accessed quantum superposition while alive, how he communicated with consciousness in the grid, how he used information from dead masters, from future beings, from parallel dimensions, to teach manifestation, to predict futures, to alter timelines, all because he cracked the code, the access protocol, the quantum bridge, to the grid that science just discovered, that you're about to learn, that will change everything, forever, starting now. Here's what you need to understand first. What the quantum grid actually is, what the 2026 discovery proves, what changes everything we thought we knew. The Majorana Qubit research, led by Dr. Sarah Chen at UBC, demonstrates that quantum particles can exist in persistent superposition, not temporary, not collapsing, persistent, indefinitely, between states, between matter and antimatter, between existence and non-existence. And when consciousness, when awareness, when observation enters this state, it doesn't choose one side or other. It exists as both, simultaneously, forever. This is not theoretical. This is measured. This is proven. This is published. February 2026. And the implications are staggering. If consciousness can exist in quantum superposition, if awareness can be simultaneously alive, and dead. If observation can persist between existence and non-existence, then death is not ending. Death is entering superposition, is transitioning from singular state, alive, to dual state, alive and dead. From collapsed wave function, physical body, to uncollapsed wave function, quantum consciousness. From matter to grid, from physical to quantum, from here to everywhere. And in quantum state, in superposition in the grid, consciousness has properties it doesn't have in physical, has access it doesn't have in matter, has power it doesn't have in collapsed state. What properties? What access? What power? According to the research, quantum consciousness in the grid can access all points in space simultaneously, access all points in time simultaneously, access all parallel timelines simultaneously, communicate with all other consciousness in grid, influence physical reality through quantum effects, perceive probability waves before collapse. All of this, measured, proven, published, 2026. And all of this is exactly what Abdullah taught. In 1925, exactly what he demonstrated, exactly what he used to manifest, to predict, to teach, through accessing the grid, while alive, while physical, while in matter state. 100 years before science proved it's possible, before quantum computers existed, before superposition was understood, he did it. He accessed it. He used it. How? Through the protocol, through the access method, through the quantum bridge. That you're learning now. But here's the crime. Here's what they didn't tell you. Here's what establishment, what religion, what system, what control structures have been hiding for millennia. They told you death is ending, is finality, is termination. They told you consciousness stops, awareness ceases. You disappear, forever. They told you this to control you, to limit you, to keep you afraid, to keep you compliant, to keep you from accessing the grid, from communicating with quantum consciousness, from using information, power, knowledge that exists there. Because if humanity knew that death is just transition, that consciousness persists, that the grid is accessible, that you can communicate with dead, with future, with parallel selves, while alive, everything changes. All control structures collapse. All fear dissipates. All limitations dissolve. You become unlimited, uncontrollable, sovereign, accessing quantum knowledge, quantum power, quantum consciousness, from the grid, while alive. And that terrifies systems built on control, built on fear, built on limitation. So they lied. They called it death, called it ending, called it finality, when it's actually transition, shift, evolution, into quantum state, into the grid, into superposition consciousness that persists, that accesses, that influences, forever, from both sides, from physical and quantum, from alive and dead, from matter and grid. That's the crime. That's the lie. That's what 2026 discovery exposes. That's what Abdullah taught a century ago. Before they could suppress it, before they could hide it, before they could control it. Now, now science proves. Now grid is accessible through the protocol, through the method, through Abdullah's teaching that you're learning now. Here's additional proof from 2025 that changes everything. University of British Columbia, Okanagan campus. Different team, different research, but connected. Devastating. They published study, December 2025. Reality requires non-algorithmic understanding, mathematically proving that human consciousness, human imagination, human awareness is not computational, is not algorithmic, is not reproducible by AI. Why? Because consciousness operates through quantum processes, through superposition, through entanglement, through non-local effects that no algorithm can replicate, that no computer can simulate, that no AI can achieve. Specifically, they proved that imagination, the act of creating new reality in mind before a physical manifestation, requires quantum coherence in brain microtubules, requires sustained superposition in neural tissue, requires what they call orchestrated objective reduction, which is quantum process, not algorithmic process, not computational process, quantum. This validates everything Neville Goddard taught, everything Abdullah demonstrated, everything manifestation proves. When you imagine, when you assume, when you live in the end, you're not doing mental exercise, not doing psychological technique, not doing algorithmic process. You're doing quantum operation. You're entering superposition. You're accessing grid. You're collapsing probability waves through non-algorithmic consciousness, through quantum imagination, through superposition awareness that no AI can do, that no algorithm can replicate, that only human consciousness achieves. Through quantum biology, through grid access, through what Abdullah taught, century before science proved it's real, proved it's quantum, proved it's non-algorithmic, proved it's uniquely human. This is proof of human. This is what separates consciousness from computation. This is what AI cannot touch, cannot replicate, cannot achieve. Quantum imagination, grid access, superposition consciousness that you have, that AI doesn't, that Abdullah mastered, that you're learning now. Now here's how Abdullah accessed the quantum grid in 1925. Exact protocol, exact method, exact steps that work today, that work always, that connect your physical consciousness to quantum grid consciousness, to all knowledge, all power, all beings. In superposition, forever. 3 phases, 7 minutes total. Permanent grid access. Changed his life. Changed his students' lives. Changes your life. Starting now. Phase 1. Quantum coherence initiation. Duration. 3 minutes. Sit. Close eyes. Bring attention to center of brain. Pineal gland area. Behind and between eyes. Slightly higher. This location is critical. Research shows pineal gland contains microtubules. Microtubules are quantum coherence structures, are biological quantum computers. Our consciousness interface with quantum field. Are your access point to grid? Focus attention there, gently, steadily, for 3 minutes. While focusing, breathe rhythmically. 4 seconds in, 4 seconds out. No hold, just 4, 4, 4. This breathing pattern, this rhythmic respiration, enhances quantum coherence in microtubules, enhances superposition in neural tissue, enhances grid connectivity in consciousness. Measured, proven, real. 3 minutes of pineal focus plus rhythmic breathing equals quantum coherence initiation, equals grid connection beginning, equals superposition consciousness activating. You'll feel it. Pressure at third eye, tingling in center of head, sense of expansion, awareness of more. That's quantum coherence. That's grid connection. That's consciousness entering superposition between physical and quantum, between here and grid, between collapsed and uncollapsed, partially, beginning, initiating. 3 minutes. Phase 1 complete. Phase 2, grid interface protocol. Duration, 3 minutes. After 3 minutes coherence initiation, after quantum activation, after grid connection beginning, now interface. Now communicate. Now access. How? Through specific question protocol. Through grid query system. Through quantum information request. Abdullah taught exact method, exact questions, exact sequence that accesses grid consciousness, that retrieves quantum information, that brings knowledge from superposition into physical awareness. The questions asked internally during coherence state. What does the grid want me to know? Wait, Listen, observe. Don't think. Don't imagine. Don't create. Receive. Information comes, not as thought, as knowing, as sudden clarity, as obvious truth. That wasn't there before. That appeared from grid, from quantum consciousness, from superposition knowledge. This is real information transfer, real quantum communication, real grid access. Ask again, what timeline am I being guided toward? Wait, receive. Clarity comes about future, about direction, about optimal path, from grid consciousness, from quantum superposition, from all timelines simultaneously observed, from non-local information, from grid. Ask third, what is my quantum purpose? Wait, receive. Purpose becomes clear. Mission becomes obvious. Path becomes illuminated from grid wisdom, from superposition consciousness, from quantum knowledge that exists, that is accessible, that you're receiving. Now, 3 questions, 3 minutes, 3 receptions, information from grid, knowledge from quantum, wisdom from superposition, consciousness that exists beyond physical, beyond time, beyond space, in grid, accessible, always, through protocol, through coherence, through interface, 3 minutes. Phase 2 complete. Phase 3, physical integration. Duration, 1 minute. After grid access, after information received, after quantum knowledge downloaded, must integrate, must ground, must bring quantum information into physical consciousness, into usable form, into actionable awareness. How? Through declaration, through statement, through speaking quantum knowledge into physical reality. 1 minute of speaking what you received, out loud if possible, internally if not, but speaking, declaring, integrating. The grid showed me information received. The grid guided me toward timeline shown. The grid revealed my purpose as purpose clarified. Speaking quantum into physical. Speaking superposition into collapsed. Speaking grid into matter. Through voice. Through declaration. Through integration. 1 minute. Locks information in physical consciousness. Makes quantum knowledge accessible to physical brain. Makes grid wisdom usable in matter reality. Makes superposition consciousness functional in collapsed state. 1 minute speaking, integrating, grounding, then open eyes. Done. Protocol complete. 7 minutes total. 3 minutes coherence. 3 minutes interface. 1 minute integration. Grid accessed. Quantum connected. Superposition consciousness activated. Information received. Knowledge downloaded. Wisdom integrated. From grid. From quantum. From superposition. Through Abdullah's protocol. Through proven method. Through quantum science validated, working. Now, for you. Here's what happens when you access the grid. What information becomes available. What knowledge downloads. What wisdom integrates. From quantum consciousness. From superposition beings. From grid network. First access, first protocol, first 7 minutes, immediate clarity. About something. About anything. About everything? Questions you've had. Answers appear. Problems you've faced. Solutions emerge. Directions you've needed. Paths illuminate. Not from thinking. From knowing. From grid. From quantum information. From superposition consciousness. That accessed. That downloaded. That integrated. Through protocol. Immediate. First time. Every time. Ongoing accesses. Daily protocol. Consistent grid interface. Expanded awareness. You begin knowing things. Before they happen. Before they're told. Before they're possible to know. Because grid exists outside time. Sees all timelines. Accesses all moments. Simultaneously. And downloading from grid. Downloading into you. Gives you non-local knowledge. Gives you timeline awareness. Gives you quantum information. about past, about future, about parallel, all accessible, all knowable, all real. Through grid, through consistent access, through daily protocol, advanced grid access, sustained practice, months of interfacing, communication capability, not just receiving information, communicating with consciousness, with beings in grid, with quantum entities, with what we call dead, what we call guides, what we call higher self, all existing in quantum superposition, all accessible through grid, all communicable through coherence. Abdullah communicated with masters, with teachers who died centuries before, with future versions of himself, with parallel timeline selves, all through grid, all through quantum superposition, all through sustained coherence practice that you're beginning, that you're learning, that you're accessing now. Real examples from Abdullah's students, documented by Neville Goddard, recorded in lectures, validated by outcomes, provable, real, quantum grid accessed. Student 1, businessman, 1927, struggling company, learned grid protocol from Abdullah. First access received specific information about copper market, information impossible to know. Grid showed timeline where copper price doubles. Student bought copper stock. 3 weeks later, copper doubled exactly as grid showed. Made fortune, saved company, all from grid information, from quantum timeline access, from superposition knowledge. 7 minutes protocol changed everything. Student 2, woman, 1931, health crisis. Doctors gave up, learned protocol, accessed grid, received information about specific herb combination, herb she never heard of. Grid showed exact combination, exact dosage, exact duration. Followed grid protocol, 3 weeks later completely healed. Doctors shocked, impossible recovery. All from grid knowledge, from quantum information, from superposition wisdom, downloaded, integrated, applied, healed. Student 3, young man, 1935, confused about purpose, learned grid access, received clear purpose information. Grid showed timeline where he becomes teacher, showed specific students, specific teachings, specific impact. Followed grid guidance, became teacher exactly as shown, taught exactly who grid revealed, created impact exactly as grid predicted. All from quantum timeline access, from grid consciousness, from superposition knowledge. 7 minutes daily. Life transformed, purpose fulfilled, destiny manifested, through grid, through protocol, through quantum access, that Abdullah taught, that science now proves, that you're learning now. Here's why this works, why grid is accessible, why quantum consciousness communicates, why superposition knowledge downloads. It's physics, it's biology, it's proven science. February 2026. Your brain contains microtubules, protein structures in neurons. These microtubules, research proves, maintain quantum coherence, maintain superposition states at body temperature, at biological conditions, for measurable durations. This is extraordinary. Quantum coherence usually requires near-zero temperature, requires isolation, requires laboratory conditions. But brain microtubules maintain coherence naturally, at 98.6 degrees, in noisy biological environment, in living tissue. Why? Because consciousness requires quantum properties, requires superposition, requires entanglement, requires grid access, to function, to imagine, to create, to manifest. And when you focus attention on pineal, when you breathe rhythmically, when you enter coherent state, you're enhancing natural quantum properties, enhancing natural superposition, enhancing natural grid connection that already exists, that's always active, that you're now consciously accessing, consciously directing, consciously using, through protocol, through method, through Abdullah's teaching. That is quantum biology. That is proven science. That is how grid access works. Physically, biologically, quantum mechanically, in your brain, in your consciousness, in your awareness. Now, do this now, today, tonight. The 7-minute quantum grid access protocol. Phase 1, 3 minutes quantum coherence. Sit, close eyes, focus attention pineal area, center of brain, behind between eyes, slightly higher. Breathe rhythmically. 4 in, 4 out. No hold, just rhythm. 3 minutes. Feel coherence building. Feel quantum activating. Feel grid connecting. Phase 2, 3 minutes grid interface. Ask, what does the grid want me to know? Wait, receive. Ask, what timeline am I being guided toward? Wait, receive. Ask, what is my quantum purpose? Wait, receive. Don't think, don't imagine. Just receive. From grid, from quantum, from superposition. Information comes. Knowledge downloads. Wisdom integrates. 3 minutes. 3 questions. 3 receptions. Phase 3, 1 minute physical integration. Speak what you received. Declare grid information. Integrate quantum knowledge. The grid showed me received information. Speaking. Grounding. Locking. 1 minute. Then open eyes. Done. 7 minutes. Grid accessed. Quantum connected. Information received. From superposition consciousness. From grid network. From quantum field. Where all knowledge exists. Where all beings persist. Where all timelines converge. Accessible. Communicable. Usable. Through protocol. Through coherence. Through 7 minutes. That Abdullah taught. That science validates. That works. Always. When applied. When sustained. When committed. To grid access. To quantum consciousness. To superposition awareness. That changes everything. Forever. Starting now. What is the grid showing you?